Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Travel with the Taylors. My name is Christine Taylor. Today we have a very exciting video today. We are going to be talking about Epic Universe, Universal's newest park. It turns 1 year old today. They opened a year ago today to the public as annual pass holders. We did have previews, but we did not get a chance to go. Um, but it did open a year ago today, so we are going to talk about Epic Universe. We're going to talk about taking your little ones. My family and I have gone 4 times to this park now, 3 or 4 times. So we know kind of the ins and outs at this point of going to Epic Universe with a little one. So with Epic Universe, they have the 5 immersive lands. They have Celestial Park. They have Super Nintendo World. They have Darkmoor, which is Universal Monsters. They have Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, which is Wizarding Paris, and they have Isle of Berk. I cannot say enough good things about this park. Really. It's a very cool park. It's very beautiful. They put so much work into this park. They put so much into the theming. They put so much into like the park in general. Like when you walk through the Kronos and you enter Celestial Park, you literally it's like you're walking through a garden, like a beautiful garden. And it's awe-inspiring. It's very amazing. It's a very big wow factor. Even we've gone, like I said, we've gone a couple of times and it's still, we go in and we're like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Um, so yeah, it's a whole big thing and it's really nice and I enjoy it. So that being said, we're going to talk about the different lands. So we're going to start with Celestial Park because that is the first one that you enter. Celestial Park is gorgeous. Like I said, there's gardens everywhere. There's a ton of food. There's a ton of restaurants. There's rides. There's a Constellation Carousel, which is definitely different than any other carousel you've been on. The whole point of this carousel is that you have music and you dance through the stars. Like you are dancing through the stars. You're dancing on the constellations. You're riding the constellations and you're dancing through it. It's amazing. I have yet to be on the ride because I get sick with carousels, but that's a different story for a different day. I've watched it before and it is gorgeous. They have waterfalls and fountains that go throughout the whole park, and the whole fountains are in sync. At night, they have a gorgeous fountain show, and I'm hearing rumors that they're having fireworks. They're building it as we speak, so that's going to be pretty cool to have fireworks and stuff as well as the fountains for the show every night. So I'm really looking forward to that. Planning on being there once I get a little more information on that. Um, so we're gonna that's Celestial Park. They have Stardust Racers for a little bit more of a crazier ride for like you. So my family has Ride Junkies and then we have the little one. So we go in between. Um, so Stardust Racers is more for the Ride Junkies. Constellation Carousel is more for like little kids. But still, as an adult, you can enjoy it. It's like I said, it's a gorgeous ride to watch. And I'm sure it's gorgeous to be on. Like I said, I'm not chancing that. Um, so they also have Astronomica, which is like a giant water like splash zone. So this is again, just like many of Disney and Universal parks, they have splash zones. It gets hot in Florida. It's very hot during the summer. Splash zones are key. I have been very tempted and slightly have gone in splash zones during the summer because it's nice to have. You dry quickly. Let's put it that way. Bring the quick drying clothes. You dry quickly in the Florida sun. So, that being said, they do have a water splash zone area. So, the next one that we're going to talk about. For me and my family, especially when it comes to the little one, we do the portals a lot differently. Um, so for us, for the portals, the next one we generally go to, it's always a toss up and it's literally whatever my little wants. We just toss it up on whether it's Super Nintendo World or it's Isle of Berk. He will go either way. Really depends on the time. But for the most part, for us, it's Isle of Berk. Um, and I mean, It's gorgeous. Like I know I'm going to be saying that a lot through the video, but really this park is gorgeous. Isle of Berk, they did a phenomenal job bringing the movies and the TV show and everything to life. They have dragons that are around. There's dragons fighting over a fish. There's dragons with the sheep. The dragons. I'm just saying, the dragons. There's water. There's feet. If you're any form of into this movie or any form of Vikings or anything like that, this is the place for you. And this was honestly the place, and I kind of it was low on my list to go. Like it was probably the third of the four portals, four technically five portals. It was like the third that I wanted to see. I really wanted to see Darkmoor, and as somebody who grew up with Mario and Nintendo and all of that, I really wanted to see what they were going to do with Super Nintendo World. I wanted to experience that myself. So Berk was kind of like the third one. After seeing Berk and after being in Berk and seeing everything for the little kids and everything, just the family atmosphere and everything for it. Yes, I know sometimes I can turn people away, but seriously though, I've talked to many people who don't even have kids who are like, that is my favorite section of the park. It is my favorite section of the park. It is my absolute favorite. So, and with that being said, Hiccup Swing Glider, all-time favorite ride. Absolutely adore this ride. I literally the first time I went on it, I held my hands up. So, really enjoy the ride and enjoy this section of the park. They have Viking Training Camp, which is a three-story playground for the little ones. Again, we're big on the little ones here and the sensory little ones. If you want an area in Epic Universe to just let these kids be kids and let them run around and be crazy and be kids, this is the area. Viking training camp's the area. There are times where he's like, oh, I'm like, I can just kind of tell that he's like getting overwhelmed and doesn't want, and I'll just look at him and be like, do you want to go over to Burke? And do you want to go play in Viking training camp? And he will literally just like, yes, perk up. He practically will run across the park to go do that. Obviously, we do the safety and we talk about safety tips, so he will not do that. But if to left to his own devices, he more than likely would do that, is to run literally, we could be all the way eating dinner in like Darkmoor or Super Nintendo World, and he will go all the way to the park and all the way to Burke and to the Viking training camp. So it's really, really cool. It's set up for little dragons. There's dragons everywhere. Like I said, it's super cute, super cool. It's really fun. I do have a couple videos on that I'll be putting up. But it's really cool. They also are house to those famous mac and cheese cones that broke the internet. They're really good. Uh, They phenomenal, phenomenal mac and cheese cones. They are pretty much we have to get every time. Now, I mean, my if you have a very, very picky little one, I wouldn't suggest this. Like mine just eats the goldfish off the one. Um, but they're good. They're good. We went for Christmas for the first Christmas for Epic, and they call it Snoggletog, which is so cute. They had a Snoggletog one, which was really good. I just there's a lot with Berg. One of the shows, okay, my little does not do the noises. He does not do the loud noises. He gets overly sensitive, overly stimulated. He's slowly, as we've gone to these parks over the years, gotten better at it and gotten better at like the noises and the loud and everything else. He's gotten better. The show that is in Berg, the Untrainable Dragon show. This show is the probably the best theme park show that I have ever been in and been at. Yes, it gets loud. You're in a dark theater. It will get dark. It will get loud. It's a show. So there is that warning there for your sensory little ones. But to see Toothless and Hiccup fly over your head and be a part of that show, there's no shortage of magic that you feel watching Toothless and Hiccup fly over you. It's to this day still my son's very, very favorite show to do. He will. He will literally go. We every single time we've gone to Epic Universe, we have done that show. It's a must do, for a lot of us. Uh, so that's Hiccups, Viking Training Camp, and the Untrainable Dragon Show are honestly the fan favorites in my house. Even with the little one. He hasn't gone on Hiccups. We'll see next trip. If he does get on it, I've talked to him about it. We've done the videos, we've talked. So I'm thinking I kind of got him there. We'll see what happens. Um, Next up, I would have to say for my favorite portal is probably it's a toss-up between Super Nintendo World and Darkmoor. For little ones, it would be Super Nintendo World. I'm a big fan of the Universal Monsters, which is why it's a toss-up. Because I'm a big fan of both. But for little ones, I would say Super Nintendo World. Now, with Super Nintendo World, especially when it comes with the little ones, if you have a stroller, because I've done this, I've dealt with this. The last trip we didn't go because I just had shoulder surgery and I couldn't push a stroller. So we went without the stroller. When you go with the stroller, this place is a lot of steps. Okay, it's literally constant up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. There's 2 stories to it. So it's up and down. There's a lot of stairs. There's 4 elevators, but it's a lot of stairs. When you go through the portal, you're gonna hang a right. So there's the front in front of you where it's gonna be the escalators and stuff like that. Hang to your right. If you want to go through the portal route, there's a whole nother route on the outside, by the store that you can just go and you'll be on the bottom floor. But if you want to go through the portal, and yes, they do have the green pipe music that you go through, so that's super cool. Especially the first time, I would suggest going through the portal because there's nothing like going through these portals. So they have on the right, when you look into the portal, like I said, you've got the escalators up straight ahead, go right. It will take you through a green pipe and then you will go into the area. You can either do the elevator, it'll take you to the elevator at that point, and then you can go up and then you'll go through Peach's Castle, which is the same thing as the people who go up the escalator. So that's super cool. Just to like see Peach's Castle and like go in through Peach's Castle and come out and see the Mushroom Kingdom. It's an experience. I would definitely recommend doing it at least once if you've never, especially if you've never been there before. So that's my hot take on that one and the trip on that one. To definitely do the portal on the right if you have the stroller. So that being said, like I said, a lot of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Another fun tip and trick, obviously, just like it's a game, you have the one-up blocks. You get to punch the one-up blocks. That's really super cool. They have power-up bands. Now, you can get these on Shop Universal before you even go down to the parks, which I suggest doing. Just so that you can have it already up there and your kids aren't like, oh, I want this, I want this one. Save, not save some money, but like get it ahead of time. That way you don't have to deal with the lines and the extra stuff because it's a lot. It's a lot during the day to just kind of like wait in line and get the stuff and then just try and get it before. That's like my number one thing when it comes to anything. We didn't because they didn't have them on the website when we went the first time. So we got them the first time. We got them at City Walk on like the Universal and Islands section. We got them in City Walk, which is kind of like their Universal's downtown Disney. And we got them there the day before we went to Epic because it was just easier. So either get them online or get them in City Walk before you go to Epic. Because when you get there, you're going to want to just do the punch box, especially with the little ones. My son just wants to go in, do the punch box. Like it was a lifesaver to get them early. Um, he loves going around. There's a Play Universal, so in the Universal app, which I highly, 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 highly recommend downloading, for mobile ordering, for line wait times, for the Play Universal, which keeps track of, it's got spells for Harry Potter, which we'll get more into later. But for Super Nintendo World, it keeps track of your one-up punch blocks, it keeps track of the coins, it keeps track of things that you collected through Super Nintendo World. So it's very, and you can have multiple profiles on it. I have mine, my son's, and my mom's on it. So it's really nice to just like you do a little family competition. In my family, we have very many a competition, including me and my sister. We're very competitive when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we keep a whole tab on that and we can keep tabs on each other. My son just kind of goes because he gets to hear the punch blocks and he gets the coins and stuff like that. He likes to know what he collects through, but he could kind of really care less. Not care less, but like care less. He just wants to go around and, have the coins and like all that. Donkey Kong area when you go through Super Nintendo World, it's on the bottom floor. Just keep going straight through past Yoshi's, past the bathrooms, which are super cool because they have the underwater puffer fish and stuff like that and really cool things in there. So you keep going that way, you'll hit Donkey Kong. Really super cool. Minecart Madness is an amazing ride. The whole Donkey Kong ride, I love it. Um, this ride can get busy. I mean, all the rides in Super Nintendo World and Harry Potter can get super busy. This is definitely one that's going to get super busy. I suggest if you're staying on property, you do get that hour early, which is what we're going to be taking advantage of. And normally we don't take advantage of that, but we are going to this trip just because we have such a short time. Um, that you get that hour early. So I would suggest going either there or Ministry of Magic or either doing it like late at night, the last ones. Just because it gets super crazy during the day. The first time we went on Minecart, it started pouring. We got in the queue, it started pouring. Shut the whole ride down. We spent 3 hours in that queue. Yes, we're crazy. I know. If it wasn't for the fact that we were literally in the building when it started downpouring, we wouldn't have waited that long. We would have went just did something else. But we did stay for that queue for 3 hours. It was a lot, but it was worth it, I guess, in that point because we still got to ride it, which was really cool. They have the rider swap, so your little ones can go through if they're not old enough yet or they don't really want to ride it, but the rest of the family does. You guys can go through just with any of the Universal rides or anything like that. Your kids can go through the queue with you, and then they have an indoor room specifically designed for that. So that once the one family member is off the ride, they go in and then you can go. So Universal's really, really good about rider swap. And like I said, all of them are inside. All of the rider swaps are inside. So you don't have to worry about ducking and covering somewhere when it's going to rain. You don't have to worry about air conditioning because, like I said, Florida summers get hot. That air conditioning, it's a lifesaver. Also drink a ton of water. I've drank over a gallon of water almost every single time we go to the parks. Even when I lived down there and I was a cast member at Disney, there was constant water. Um, so that being said, that is Super Nintendo World. It gets crazy, it gets busy. Anything, as with anything in this park, I heavily suggest checking it out when the sun goes down because the park turns into a whole different beast in the best way possible when it's nighttime and when it's dark. This park was built for night. Like literally, there's nothing more to say about that. That park is built for being in the dark and being at night. So, next one would be Darkmoor for me anyway. Frankenstein's there. They have Frankenstein Bride. They have Igor. They have the townspeople. They have monsters and monster hunters, and it's so cool. The Invisible Man's there. He gets sassy. Absolutely love him. My son loves him. Um, and then you have Curse of the Werewolf, which is absolutely my favorite roller coaster at this park, which it's kind of funny because like everyone in my family, because I don't really do rides, like not crazy things like that. My whole family is like, how is that your favorite ride? I'm like, it's my absolute favorite ride. You're spinning, which is weird, especially because I can't go on carousels. Getting on this ride, I don't get sick. I don't understand it. It just happens that way. So, um, we're just gonna roll with that until I can't roll with that anymore. So you spin and you go through the track, and basically it's you turning into a werewolf, which is super, super cool. Um, it gets freaky. I rode it at night. It's because during the day, me and rides during the day, the first time I go on them, I get nervous. Working on it, but I get nervous. I do get nervous. And then there's Monsters Unchained, which I have not gone on just because I've heard that it's kind of like Forbidden Journey over in Islands, and I get sick going on that ride. Which kind of is sad because I love that ride. It's a very nice ride. I might try Monsters Unchained this time. We'll see how it goes. But honestly, I've seen videos of the ride. It's a great ride. So that's there. You've got Burning Blade Tavern, which especially at night you get to like see the villagers come to the tower and set it on fire and then they run away. So like it's just like the Frankenstein movie. It's so cool. Um, and then last but not least, at least for me, and this is saying something because I grew up with Harry Potter and I love Harry Potter. And I've been to Paris, so I love the French culture. I speak French, so it's for me, this isn't last but not least, but like for families and kids, it kind of is. Like you have the wands and you have the spells, just like you do with the other two parks. So you can cast spells throughout the park, which is super cool. You need a second gen wand to do it. We got the first gen wands when we had Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley because we were there when Hogsmeade was built. So we have them from all the way when Hogsmeade was built, and then they did Diagon Alley. So we've got the first generation ones. We picked up the second generation ones because you could only use them at Epic as well. Those were the only ones. They didn't have the first gen ones you couldn't do because they had to update the whole, it was a whole catastrophe. So we got the second generation, which is a whole, they're super cool. I really like them. They're not as expanded as the first generations because they've had so long with the first generations to expand them, make more characters, but they're coming out with more. I believe in second gen now they have Voldemort's wand and that kind of stuff. So that's a whole thing. Um, but I do love that area. I do love the spells. They have the Mooncalfs. They have their Cirque Arcanu, which is a really good show. Finally got to see the full one in December. That's a whole thing. They were having a little technical difficulties. So, um, I waited for a while to see that. They have Ministry of Magic. Again, it's as with any of the Harry Potter rides, it gets crazy busy, crazy quick. So, if that's one thing that you want to go on, either hit it at early park entry if you're staying on the resort or at night, like a little bit closer to park close. If they haven't capped off the line, which is another thing, is that they could cap off the line, especially with Ministry of Magic and Battle at the Ministry. I've seen it happen. So going early to that one is probably your best bet. The food is amazing there. The food all around this park is amazing. Just it brings theme park food to a whole different level. And I'm excited to see what else they're going to do. But those are my portals and my rankings for the portals. So have a good day and happy birthday, Epic! Yay!